Episode number 151 from the archives. Welcome to the Heads Up Poker Podcast. This is Steve Barton, and thank you for tuning in. This week we're going to the archives. Had a busy week, spent some time with the family out in Las Vegas. Played a bunch of little tournaments with mom and dad. I tweeted about that. That was a lot of fun. And now I'm back to work for 5 days in a row, and I just didn't have time to get an episode out. So we're going to pull one from the archives for the new listeners. Enjoy. This is with some of the TPE guys, Marc and Derek, myself and Mike. And for those of you that have been longtime listeners, you'll probably remember it. And we play the poker quotes game. So, wishing you guys a happy new year, full of good resolutions, and enjoy. Welcome to the Heads Up Poker Podcast. This is Steve Barton, and thank you for tuning in. We have an extra special treat for you guys. Mike and I are here with Marc and KB, and we've had you both on the show many times, but never both at the same time. So thank you guys for coming on.
Yeah, absolutely. Good to be here.
Yep.
Yes.
Extra special treat. That might be a little, exaggeration, Steve.
Am I throwing it out?
You had our listeners on edge, jumping out of their seat. Extra. Oh wait, I've heard those guys before.
Oh, wait a minute. Hang on. Okay.
They've never had us both at once, though.
No, not at the same time. I don't know what kind of innuendos you're throwing out there, KB, but
is it?
Yeah, just give the listeners a quick rundown of how long you two have been dating, or do you guys call it courting? Or
I'm out of here.
How long have we been together, KB? Let's talk about that. When did we meet?
That's a good question.
You don't remember, neither do I.
Actually, I remember very little about how we first met. I assume it just happened on Skype or something, like random, but I have no memory.
Yeah, it was definitely through Casey, and yeah. The lock days.
I was hoping to hear you guys were like in a Rio bathroom and your eyes met.
But once we did it, yeah, that happens at the house.
And you guys decide you were both broke, but if you decided you could put your $61 again together, you could have a 1-2 buy-in and and you ran it up together. It's been friends for life since.
Well, it's funny actually. Once we did meet in Vegas, we've been pretty close ever since. Because we have a lot in common. We like to drink. We like to gamble. Yeah.
That's pretty much it. And that occupies about 98% of your time. So
we like counting crows.
Yep. Plus, he's a really cheap guy to travel with because I can just put him in my carry-on luggage.
Oh dear.
It's a matter of time. Like when he starts doing it, like he's a pretty cheap guy. I'm like, oh, here we go.
It's coming. Wait for it.
I thought he was gonna say that was a cheap date because I'm so small and don't eat, but that's not true because I'm big.
He didn't say it was a light suitcase.
Yeah.
He just said a suitcase.
Am I the only one who can already smell the PT's pizza? Is it too early to get excited?
Oh, no.
Am I crazy?
Their pizza
no.
sucks.
I cannot wait.
Cardboard.
Oh, you don't like their pizza?
It's cardboard.
Oh, I thought the pizza was good.
Oh yeah, the burgers, the
wings.
IPAs.
Marc likes the wings.
I hope they still have.
I do like it. Oh, so the first night we got there last year, Mike ordered like 10 pizzas between me, Carlos, KB, and him. And thank God for me and Carlos because we wouldn't have finished.
Yeah.
Carlos hired the bus boy.
They would have had 8 left.
I was at my heaviest weight then too that summer. It was not my finest time, but I'm on a
I didn't want to say anything, but
oh man. Yeah, I have a weight in my head where if I ever get to that point, I go on a refugee diet, and I hit that weight, and I was like, all right, time to start dropping some.
You ever seen, I'm sure Marc has, the pictures of KB in his rock and roll days, the long hair, how handsome he was, and I just think, man, this guy's going to shit.
I actually have the albums.
Oh, I didn't realize you
got
listen to the music.
Yeah.
Wow.
Really?
Oh yeah,
I should have autographed those.
Dude, KB's band is on at PTs. Like KB's a legend out here. We know him as the fat slob drunk, but KB used to be rocking out.
He used to be cool.
He's not a slob. Okay, the fat drunk part I agree with. Oh, before I forget to say, KB has pushed a couple people over to my Twitch channel when I'm twitching, and I thought this was funny. This is the other night where I forget which one. I've had a couple good scores recently, and obviously I don't know, maybe you weren't twitching. You might not have been twitching that night, and a couple of your regulars were over there, and one of them was like, "Why don't you grab a beer, Mike?" And right away I knew it was from. I'm like, who drinks while they're
I've ruined it for everybody. Everybody wants to see.
And then, like, afterwards, the same guy's like, "Why don't you celebrate, Mike? Grab a beer." I'm like, "Okay, I'll go grab a beer." And he was disappointed. It was like, it's like some hillbilly is like, watching it and like, "Bertha, come over here. This guy's not even drinking. Find me that Killenberg guy."
It does kind of suck, I have to say, because now it's just sort of expected, and I don't really. I mean, I do drink almost every day, but I don't necessarily want to drink almost every day. But I'm like forced to. It's like peer pressure.
People they're holding their finger over the cheers emoji there, and they're just like,
yeah. People
will he pick that thing up again?
People roll in, and they're like, "Oh man, he's not even drinking. I'm gonna go watch Jay Carver instead."
Casey probably has it worse because he's had some like epic drunk streams. Like when you were in Canada a couple weeks back, a month back.
I saw that
was
one.
Hilarious. And then like his next stream, I was just like, oh man, this isn't the same. Like I've fallen into that too. Like I enjoy it more when people are drinking. Shocker.
Yeah. Even his videos aren't as fun now because I watch them and I'm like, he's not even wasted.
I can semi-understand what he's saying.
Yeah.
Do a line at least, bro.
Yeah, something.
Any chance the big dog? The big dog I still see as like the center. This is not making a fat joke, by the way, big dog, but he's still like the center of the tournament poker edge world in my mind. Maybe that's because he's the reason I joined.
Oh yeah, Big Dog's the man.
He's not making as many videos as Andrew and Mark and maybe some other people, but he's still. It feels like like I was disappointed this last summer. Let's put it that way when he wasn't out there. You know what I'm saying?
He's a blast to be around, and and he's still very much involved. He's been working on some other projects, including his new poker site, ppi.net. I wish I had an affiliate code. I'd give it to you. So he's just been really busy with that stuff, and he's got a baby. In addition to the one he already had, and just built a new house. So like he's kind of like I've had the craziest March of my life, and he's had like the craziest year and a half of his life. So like I know how he feels, and his is just way more extended. But Big Dog's the man.
Right on. What's the plan for the WSOP this year, KB? You guys are getting the same house?
We're actually unsure at the moment. We're doing something. We know that Well, me and Marc are going. I know that.
Okay.
What we don't know is when, where, or what we're playing.
Right.
But you will be there.
We're super organized about this stuff. No, we've actually been really good in the past. Like I think Marc will agree. We're not like the most like motivated people to organize shit, but we've been really good about this every year until this year. But I think the general plan is that we're gonna go sometime around like the monster stack and then play through the main event.
And when does that start? When's the monster stack?
I think it's like June 20th or something.
Oh, okay. You guys are going out later too.
Yeah.
I wish that monster stack in the. I don't know if you've looked at the schedule. I wish that monster stack and the Millionaire Maker were like back-to-back weekends. That's my one. Those are the two I really want to play, and in case I only go out there for 10 days or something,
Yeah, you know what? When if you guys are looking for a roommate, I'm gonna be out there. I think about that time. So let me know.
Like I told you before, chances are we are because I put it in the TP Skype group, and KB's the only one that ever responds. Everyone else just showers my life. And Casey said he wanted to go. So I think Casey is probably 50-50 to come because he was mentioning it months ago. So, I think I mean, we like having Casey there. It's fun. It's a good time.
Yeah. How long are you guys going to go for? Like June 20th till the end, or?
Yeah.
Does that mean you're not having the booth? I take it then if you're going out not for the whole series.
It doesn't look like it, but that's kind of up in the air too. But that's going to have to be decided really soon.
As is the house.
You guys are on it, man.
Yeah, I'm telling you. Like,
you know it's so hard because, as we get older, and people have families and shit, so it's like, okay, other than me. So I'm like, oh, I'm ready to go whenever. You tell me the date, I'll be there. So, like, everyone's like, oh, I can be there this weekend, that weekend. And then, when you're renting a house in Vegas, usually it's cheap, but, like, landlords just fuck you during the World Series, especially when you're a block away. So it's expensive. So, trying to get all the rooms booked and stuff in a 5-bedroom isn't easy, especially since KB and I are kind of picky who we live with.
Yeah.
I'm picturing just an empty space there where the TPE booth was with like T-Twist with a duffel bag over his shoulder saying, wait a second.
T-Twist and Carlos hanging out.
Yeah.
I like that though.
I hope we get the
I
booth.
agree. It was really cool that not only from just like a celebrating and marketing TPE standpoint, but just having a place you can go on breaks and stuff and chill was nice.
It wasn't even my booth, but I get every now and then there'd be some poker player sitting there and like grabbing their drink and standing in front of it and putting it on the table. I'm like, hold on, man. Becoming hostile. It's like someone taking a crap on your lawn or something. Yeah. Back off. This is for TPE members only here.
It's crazy. Like every year, the more years I go to the series, we're like a cult. Like there's so many of us now that make it out there, and like every year we're staying longer. I mean, that's truly what's amazing about TPE is just like the amount of people I've met through it. I mean, even our parties, when we do the TPE party, every year they get bigger, and better because we go to random places after the bar, which are amazing. So, yeah, I'm pumped. Like, I really hope we do get the booth because I like meeting a lot of the players and stuff. It's a good time.
Yeah.
It's funny how on those nights though, like the herd gets thin. Like it starts off with 50 people at the bar, then it's like the next bar is like 20 people, and then it's me and Mark walking out of a strip club at 7:30 in the morning.
It's like a tournament. Only the strong survive.
Yeah, exactly.
Some people just don't know how to party.
Some people punt their stack in the first level, and
Right. Well, I mean, just to the TPE people, just suck it up and be, getting a good nap in ahead of time and get ready for the full night.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Buckle. The problem is people go out there for like 5 days, and if they make it to the TP party, they want to play the next day. I'm usually just planning on like, okay, I'm taking the day of the TP party off, and then 2 days after for recovery. We go hard, and I usually do that for KB and my birthday because I'm the 3rd and he's the 4th. So I mean, I don't think I remember the last 5 years what we did on our birthdays. For KB's this year, funny story. We go beer tasting, and I've never done it before. It was a blast, and we're like, all right, we're only gonna have a couple. So like 6 hours go by, and like we're at the bar, the girls are making out there, like they're taking shots. Like we stumble back home. Oh my god. It's just I don't know what happens. It's KB's fault. I blame it on Derek, but always a blast.
I could be to blame. Yeah,
it's like a guy at the Coney Island hot dog contest. I might stop at 3 today.
Yeah,
oh, fuck it.
Okay, 30.
You're hanging out with KB. Just assume it's going to be a booze fest. It's prepare for that.
Sometimes KB goes home earlier than I do. Because he's older and wiser and maybe more mature. That's up in the air. But, like, he'll go home sometimes, and I'll end up, like, at a fucking handy joint at, like, 1:30 a.m. or something. I go hard. Shout out to all the handy joint shit. See, I could say that.
And that's code for massage with release.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark, you didn't even – I'm kind of envious. When I'm out there, man, I just love live tournaments so much. I just can't miss them. So, I mean – I probably would have a much higher EV if I played. I mean, last year I fired like 45 bullets in like 33 days or something ridiculous with rebuys and everything. I probably would be much more profitable if I played 20 and then, grinded some online and just took some days off.
I love playing live. Like, it's so much more fun than playing online. It's just I can't handle it. Whatever, not to make excuses, but my back does get involved, and like I can't sit that long. And honestly, the truth is for the past 4 years, not this year, but I mean I was grinding every day, like damn near almost 6-7 days a week. So when I get out to Vegas and I see all these people that I talk to on Skype all day, it's almost like kind of a vacation, like, where everyone else is so motivated to play. I'll play like maybe 6 to 7. Like, I think I played 7 tournaments last year in the full month. I'm happy just kicking a poolside with Derek. Right. And
didn't you win like a 40K online your first week out there, and you're like, okay, the house is paid for,
Yeah, I did.
I could even send the mortgage payments back home. You're all.
I did ship something. I was lucky enough to ship something, but no, I mean that's the thing too. Like, Derek and I are completely content playing online together next to each other and just like laughing and then ordering food. Like, we just don't see each other ever. So like, we're dating. All right, let's just be real. Derek and I are dating.
We're There's a reason I haven't been home in a month.
Oh yeah, you're out at the beach right now, right?
Yeah, back out at the beach. I just got back from Austin, Texas. Before that, I was in Orlando. I'm here another 9 days, and life's good.
Nice. Right on. Where you're at the Outer Banks?
Yeah. Yep. Kill Devil Hills. Me and 3 dogs and a cat. And it's chaos here. But the sad part is I think I've drank every day here, too. But that's because I had friends come to visit, and now I'm on my own. I might actually take a day off. Oh, no, that's not true. I'm probably going out drinking tonight. I'm actually really excited about. So this is either going to be really lame or really cool. Most likely lame. So my dad sent me a text, and he said, "Hey, there's this bar down the street, like a mile away, in case you're looking for something to go out and do, and they have like free bar league poker."
Oh.
And I was like, "Oh my god, I haven't done that in like 5 years." Like, playing one of those bar leagues, and I'm so excited about it, I can't even tell you. I thought it was today at first, and I was like all amped up, and then I'm like, shit, it's tomorrow. So I'll let you guys know how that goes. It's gonna be amazing, I think.
KB, cool. What's the I don't know, the biggest effort you've ever made? I mean, have you ever traveled to go to like a specific brew pub or anything? I mean, I'm picturing you in some Amazon forest with like a rusty blade, like cutting through the trees. Like, God damn it! I know there's a pale ale from something like something you read online. You're like
I think the
flies biting you. You're sweating to death, and you keep going
pushing
forward,
your way
man.
through the jungle.
I mean, I'll definitely try to find a brewery pretty much anywhere I go, like just so I can experience it and check it out and try beers and stuff. But I think the furthest I've ever gone, like specific, like I said, okay, I'm going to this brewery and get in my car and go, is I've probably driven like 5 hours, maybe 6 hours, but anything else is like
that's dedication, Chirp. That's dedication.
That is pretty good dedication. Yeah, I've only driven that far for my wife and poker. Never done it for beer. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah, usually I can just combine it, like, oh, we're going to Jamaica. There's got to be a brewery there. There is.
I guess you got to have. I mean, I keep thinking like, how many different beers are there? But it's like any little kind of. Well, like there are people who don't play poker. There's like, well, there can't be anything else to learn. But I'm sure you can tell the difference. The slightest difference in a beer from something else you had is. You're going to notice that. Your palate's got to be pretty defined now, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I can tell you, because I have an app that actually tracks this, amazingly.
Okay.
Like all the beers I've had. And I can tell you, I sometimes miss some because I just forget. Or if I do like a flight or something, I might not.
Wait, hold on. Can you pause for a second? We can all take a guess?
Oh, that's a good idea.
The over-under, Mark. What would you put on here? Let's bet. Let's.
Okay,
you come up with the over/under.
Explain exactly what it is. It's that app you're saying of how many beers you had that you.
Right.
Okay. And how long ago did you start tracking this, KB?
Probably about 4 years ago.
Oh fuck. Okay. All right.
Now this is important to know. Yeah, I don't check in every beer. So the number you guys should be guessing is the number of distinct beers.
Okay.
So
like craft
usually
beers.
check into a beer once. Like
so you're not like going back to your like the one time you had a Rheingold off some stripper's butt while you were a rock and roll guy. That's not like you're going back to put those beers in.
Well, yeah. So you're not guessing like how many beers I've drank in my life, in the time I've had this app. You're guessing like individual distinct beers. So
okay, so if you have Sam Adams IPA Tornado or whatever, that would only be one, even if you've had it 12 different times.
right, exactly.
I'm gonna say, here's the number I'm gonna give. Here's the over under, and then you two can take a guess at it. I could be way off. I'm gonna say 3 new beers a week for 4 years. I'm gonna say around 615 beers.
Under. I'll put my life on the under. Everything I'm worth, everything I own on the under. Not even close.
Really? Okay.
I'm definitely
Because
taking
he
the
doesn't
under
check
on
in
this.
every time.
No, but if he goes to a brew pub that's unique, I mean, he could be trying like 25 beers in just one afternoon, though.
I'll take the under there. Still.
Yeah, I'm going to go under on that one. I'm going to say now, KB, you can actually look and see how many you've done here, right? We're not talking Okay, cool. I'm going to say, Mark, you tell me the over under on this. I'm going to go 370.
Under.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty accurate. Okay, I'm going 370. All right, what do you? If you got to put a number on it, Mark, what would it be?
Well, Mark's got to know here. He's got to know better than us. But yeah, go ahead. I'm curious.
No, I don't sleep with KV.
Mark is
not in the
so
same room,
obsessed.
but you guys take naps together and stuff. So.
He's got a drone camera moving around KB's property at all time, watching out, making sure his buddy's okay.
Okay, so you guys have me kind of scared because you're much higher than I was. So I'm gonna safely say I'll say 150, but I was even under that before, so I'll say 150.
Oh wow! I was thinking you were going like 270.
It seems like every time I watch him twitch, he's trying something he hasn't tried before.
Yeah,
So
I just don't know if he
that would
checks
be
in
3
that
beers
much,
a week
right?
right there.
I don't
I'm
know
sorry?
if he checks. I don't know if he checks in that much. That's what I'm basing my low number on.
Mm-hmm. I will
so
say
it's
that
like so it's kind of like say KB's 3-betting range. It's just haphazard. He's just lifting a finger and just
as we
Now, have you looked yet, KB? Do you know how many there are?
Yes, I do, and I will. I don't know if this will change.
I could bet on how many Mark thinks that you think that there is, but we're okay. How much is it?
Well, I will say this: I do try to check. If I try a new beer, I usually try to remember to check into it. Now, I would say I have a success rate of about 80%. Like so maybe 20% of the time, I don't check into a beer that I've never had. So it's pretty rare.
That's higher than I thought. You might be right, Mike.
So I will say that since I've been here in the Outer Banks, I've checked into 6 beers. But I can tell you for sure.
Okay. Then
but I can
I'm
tell
way
you
off.
but I can tell you that that number I've actually had here is probably closer to like 10. So I've actually been bad here. But I was with friends, and I'm not as good about doing it when I'm like in a group because it's kind of weird to pick up your phone and do it. So anyway, the number is 727.
Yeah. Oh, Mike. I was going to say Mike's going to be much closer.
You killed it.
See, here was my thought process, too, because I thought it was tagged to your Twitter because you used to check in. Every beer used to check into Twitter, and I don't see it at all anymore.
Because I now have it linked to my Lone Rider Twitter account.
God damn it.
Yeah, lack of data, Mark. Lack of data.
You both.
What's the name of the app?
It's called Untapped.
Okay.
Huh.
You
I'm
both put
going
to keep track of all the women I'm cyber stalking. I wonder if there's an app for that. I'm curious what sort of numbers I rack up over a lifetime.
Over.
Now that'd be funny if you if the app had like little special features, like you reach 1,000 beers and it starts sending text messages, dude. It's time to move on.
It
actually 800 number.
Actually, it does have something like that. So it has things like, so for example, it'll tell me like you just drank your 85th stout and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
That's an actual
this
number.
Is Pokemon for adults. Pokemon for adults.
Yeah, it's
genius.
It's pretty amazing.
Does it let you? Does it have a social element too? You can meet up with other beer lovers. It's so and so. I'm going to be trying this.
Yeah, so people can like. So when I post, like my friends on Untapped can like, they call it. It's kind of like hitting the like button on Facebook, but they call it cheering.
Okay.
So they can hit cheers. Yeah, I've had 60 different just pale ales.
Can you rate them too? Like my favorite, or like a 10, or hoppy stuff like that.
Yeah, you can. I don't because working for a brewery, I don't want to I just want to say bad things about anybody else's beer, so I never rate anybody's beer. I've had 250 IPAs, 250 different IPAs.
Yeah, those are my favorite now too. Over the last couple of years, I don't know what it is, but I just developed a taste for IPAs.
And I can tell you that on April 18th of 2015, I earned the Take It Easy badge, which means I drank.
Good call.
I drank 12 distinct beers that day. 12 different beers.
Nice run, dude. Very impressive.
Actually, you want to know? I'm going to bring this back to poker. You know why that's not impressive? Because the day I did that was Cherokee Circuit event. I went to play one event, and it was the first time I ever brought my wife to a poker tournament. She was just going to hang out, and she was going to go hiking and stuff. And I busted in 12 minutes. And she was on her way to go hiking, and I texted her, and I go, I just busted. You want to go hit breweries? So we went to 10 different breweries. I drank 12 different beers, and it was all because I busted a circuit event in 12 minutes.
For some reason, I assumed you had a dishonest relationship where your wife is like, why do all your energy drinks smell like beer?
Oh, no. She's my designated driver.
Oh, okay.
That is too
good.
I got a little game here if you guys want to play it. It's
dear.
Famous quotes in gambling and poker.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah, we can keep score. You'll have 3 choices after each quote, and we'll see who wins.
All right, no Google. Everyone agree?
No Google. We got to agree to that. Okay, no Google.
I'm dead money in this, but I still want to wager on it because it's way more fun if we gamble. So, $20 a pop.
Sure.
In.
KB?
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so wait. How does it work? Winner take all?
Yeah, I say the other 2 people pay the winner 20 each, yeah.
Got it.
Okay.
Because you're not playing, right? Because you know the answers, obviously.
It would be very unfair if I played, yes.
Can I take Steve's side if he plays?
I will say this, though. When I was looking these up, I almost knew one. I was pretty sure I knew it. And then, I probably would have got 75% on one answer. So these may be more. They'll be easier because you're going to get 3 choices. But if I just gave you the statement, I doubt anyone would know who it is.
Did you? Somebody did a NCAA bracket with Trump tweets. I don't know if you saw that. It's pretty funny. It wasn't really a contest as much as your favorite. One of them is, "Don't worry about Ben Affleck. He's going to be a great Batman." And I don't know. Just, I can't even get into it. You got to look it up. It's just bizarre,
Do we have to buzz in or anything?
What's that?
Do we have to buzz in or something?
Yeah, no. I'll give you the answers. Everyone said, or I'll give you the 3 different choices of who could have said it, and then you each say who you think it is, and then we'll and then I'll tell you the answer, and we'll keep score.
Got it.
Got it? Okay. $20 on the line from each guy. First, let me tell you about your favorite poker hypnotherapist, Elliot Roe. I'm trying to remember the last time I listened to an Elliot Roe MP3. It was this morning. I can't seem to go a day without listening to this guy. I popped in a little confidence booster to start the day. So whatever game you play, whatever your leak, what you need to work on is MP3s from Elliot Roe. I won't play a hand of poker unless I listen to one of his MP3s first. And you know why? This is where you guys are supposed to say why. Oh, there we go. I'll tell you why. Because you won't be 100% focused. And when you are staring at 2 black aces on a 4, 5, 6 of hearts board and a guy donk bets the flop into you, you have to make the correct decision. And it better be the right one. Get your free meditation tape. It's a free 7-minute Tilt-Buster. Click on the link in the show notes or go to headsuppoker.poker. And when you do purchase, use the code HUPOKER and you'll get yourself a little rebate. Okay.
Just quickly, I've just listened to another podcast, and it's just funny how, everybody loves Elliot. It's just you don't realize how big his supporters are. But it's everybody is I was smoking 6 pounds of crack a day. Then I met Elliot, and now I'm making $300 an hour playing poker. Yes. Not quite that dramatically, but no, he does.
You still do your sessions with him, right, Mark?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, Elliot's the man. Changed my life. And not just poker, everything. The guy just puts you on the right track. I couldn't recommend him enough. I mean, he's the best.
Yeah, I got Mike a session. I even bought my mom a session. Like, it's just the guy.
I've debated doing that as well. Maybe one of my brothers, and then I'd like to get my mom one too. It's a good idea.
That's kind of dangerous, Steve. Your mom could realize any problem she's had in life is blamed on her bratty son, and that's
all related.
That was kind of that's a slippery slope there.
You don't even have to do it for people that play poker. I mean, he just has this way about him that he just kind of cuts straight through the bullshit and gets right to the root of whatever hang-up you have in your life.
Okay, speaking of handy joints, Elliot's probably sick of us all jerking him off here, so let's go to the contest.
Enough rum and tuck. Okay, famous quotes in gambling and poker history. You guys ready?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to keep score here. We got Mark, KB, and Mikey. Okay, here's the quote. You can shear a sheep 100 times, but skin it only once. Who said this? Was it Johnny Moss, Amarillo Slim, Chip Reese?
What order do we go in?
Johnny Moss, Amarillo Slim, Chip Reese.
I gotta do this one last because I know the answer.
Oh, you do? Now you just gave it away. Okay, what if we do this? What if we do Mark, KB, Mikey, and then we do KB, Mikey, Mark, and we keep changing the order like that?
Okay.
Okay, so you'll go last now, Mike, since you gave away that you know the answer.
Well, I'm not 100%. I'll give it away to these guys here, but that is definitely spoken in Rounders by Matt Damon. And
you're just feeding them hints right now, bro.
Well, I'm just trying to be. Well, if you either remember it or you don't,
Can you say the quote one more time?
You can shear a sheep 100 times, but skin it only once. Johnny Moss, Amarillo Slim, Chip Reese.
Okay, I'm gonna go with one of two. I'm gonna go Johnny Moss.
Johnny Moss. Okay.
I was gonna say I don't think Chip Reese was ever mentioned in Rounders. It's got to be one of the other two.
Yeah, that was my thought process too.
And honestly, I originally was thinking Amarillo Slim, but then Moss seems like more likely to have been mentioned in Rounders to me. So I'm gonna go with Johnny Moss also.
Johnny Moss. Okay, Mikey.
I'm pretty sure it's Amarillo Slim. I thought, if I remember the movie properly, I've watched it a bunch of times, but I could be wrong.
Amarillo Slim. Final answer.
Yeah, God, it'll be embarrassing if I get this one wrong. But yeah, go ahead.
Mikey, you are correct.
Darn it!
Go.
It was 1 of 2, man. It was 1 of 2. Never read.
Do we get half points?
I won't say why I rolled out Amarillo Slim, but whatever. Yeah, move on. I have some reasoning.
Okay.
There's some interesting game theory we can go into here, but
I was thinking that too. Okay, so we'll KB, you'll be the first one to answer this next time, then Mike, and then Mark last, and we'll keep rotating.
No, I thought it would weaved around. Now I have to answer first now because I answered last.
I got the order in my head right here, Mike. Don't mess me up.
Oh dear. Okay.
Okay.
There's only one host of this game.
All right, Mike's got one. Okay, here's the next one. You guys ready?
Ready.
Trust everyone, but always cut the cards. Was that Benny Binion, Doyle Brunson, Stu Unger?
I'm first.
You're first.
Benny Binion.
Okay, Benny Binion. Mikey?
Yeah, this is just be kind of a guess. Although it does have sort of a simple rural Texas simplicity to it, doesn't it? So I'm going to say Doyle.
Doyle?
Yeah, it's definitely not Unger, and yeah, I'm going Binion.
What's that?
I'm going Benny Binion.
Benny Binion. Okay. Mikey, you are incorrect. KB and Mark, you got it. Okay.
God damn it.
Yeah.
He owns
a casino. He owns a casino.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Dude, and Doyle would be like, cut the cards or I'll shoot you in the face or something like that. Like,
Right, okay.
yeah, tied up. Let's go.
That makes sense. Okay.
Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, the next one. And listen to this quote carefully because it might be the opposite of what you're thinking. Okay. There is more to poker than life. Tom McAvoy, Phil Hellmuth, Dan Harrington.
There is more to poker than life.
There's more to poker than life.
Who are the three? Harrington, I'm sorry.
Tom McAvoy, Phil Hellmuth, Dan Harrington.
Who goes first?
Mark goes first.
I go first. I went first the first time. All right. I'm going to go
Oh, wait
with...
a minute. Hang on. No, hang on. I'm sorry. Yeah, Mikey goes first. I'm jacked up. We're all just waiting. Okay, Mike, you go first.
I'm going to go with Mr. Hellmuth there.
Hellmuth? Okay.
Who's next?
Mark.
McAvoy.
McAvoy. KB.
I'm also going McAvoy.
McAvoy.
If this is
Okay.
Hellmuth, I'll be so shocked.
Yeah.
He would have been my
I'll be kind of
last
shocked if it's Harrington, too.
Same.
Okay.
And that's
I don't know.
kind of how I waited.
The way I was thinking is just Hellmuth. Okay, go ahead.
Mikey, you are incorrect.
Steve, just give us the goddamn answer next time. The tension is more than I can freaking take.
Oh, this is great. Okay. All right. Okay, so now we're going Mark, and then
Wait, so
KB,
we were right.
and
We
then-
were right. KB and I were right.
You guys were right, yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Mike.
Sorry, I just like saying
Mike
Mike was wrong. I forget the rest of the part of it, okay?
All right, let's go.
All
I
right.
didn't know McAvoy was such a wit there.
Yeah. Okay. Next one. Okay. Money won is twice as sweet as money earned. Tom Cruise, Mary Elizabeth, Paul Newman.
I assume I'm first this time?
Mark is.
Oh.
I only know who one of the people are, so this should be fucked. All right, one more time with the quote.
It'll help. Money won is twice as sweet as money earned.
Tom Cruise and who were the other two?
Is Mary Elizabeth, is that Carlos's TPE chat name? I don't know. What the hell is that?
Yeah, thank you.
I'll explain it. I'll explain it after you guys answer.
Okay, well, give me the three guesses. I'm trying to make.
Okay, here we go. One more time. Money won is twice as sweet as money earned. Tom Cruise, Mary Elizabeth, Paul Newman.
Fuck you guys. Just fuck everyone. I'm going Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise, okay? KB,
Paul Newman.
Paul Newman, Mike.
I almost feel like it has to be Mary Elizabeth just because I don't know where the hell that's from. Paul Newman was my first instinct, so that's what I'm going with.
Okay. Mike, you are correct, and so is KB.
Yeah!
Who the fuck is Paul Newman?
He makes hot
Joking?
sauce.
Are you joking?
No, you're right. You won. You got the answer right.
No, I mean, no, but Mark not knowing who Paul Newman is.
Oh yeah, he's the actor that he died a few years ago, and he was in From the Color of Money.
He's only the
From
guy
the movie The
born
Color.
in 1925. Damn it! All right.
What's the score here, Steve?
Okay, we've got Mike at 2, Mark at 2, KB at 3. Okay.
I'm just great at everything.
Yes. Is there anything you can't do? Okay. All right. Now this next one's about. This is a quote after one of these guys won the WSOP main event.
Okay.
Okay. All right. All you need to win is a chip and a chair. Was that Bobby Baldwin, Johnny Chan, Jack Strauss? And KB, you're going first, then Mike, then Mark.
Jack Strauss.
Jack Strauss.
Jack Strauss.
Strauss.
Yeah, you guys are right. Okay, I guess That was an easy one.
No, I didn't know. I just had to roll with the, the majority. I'm lucky
couldn't
I
be
went
left
last
behind.
year. Yeah, no, I just rode that one.
The funny thing is, if we didn't actually have choices and had to write these down, Mark would be like, Meryl Streep? I don't.
This is where the game theory came in, because I'm like, I don't know, so I'm just gonna snap answer really fast, and then
No, you didn't. No, you
I
didn't
knew it.
snap answer. I paid attention to that. I was like, you didn't snap answer. Trust me, I was paying attention to that.
It was quick. It
Wasn't snap though. He didn't just go like doom. Like when I went McAvoy. Like that was free money. I should have thought about that.
All right, I
I
failed.
was paying attention, but when Mike doubled down though, I was like, I just got to roll with them. Although in theory, to tie it up, I could have. Whatever. Go ahead.
There's like timing tells. If Mark answers like within 5 seconds, he sort of doesn't know. In more than 5 seconds, he really doesn't know.
No, here's the thing. How many more questions are there? Because I may have to just go off the wall here to try to tie things up.
True.
One more question.
Oh, well, yep. KB's got it locked up. I can only tie if he misses.
Me too.
True.
KB should go first.
Mark, it's your turn. I'm sorry. Okay, let's see. No, Mark, it's not your turn. Mike, you're first. Then
okay.
Mark, you're second, and KB, you're last.
Oh, I get to go last.
Okay,
I'm in
hold
position.
on. Mike, here's the thing.
We have to give different answers, obviously. Yeah.
Wait.
We're colluding here. Yeah.
Good. All right.
Only 3 poker players would be reading this out at the very end here. Okay, I don't think any of you will know that. Maybe you will. I don't know. You guys pulled the chip in the chair out pretty good, but yeah. Okay,
I'm dead money. Dead money. I hate $20 that much. I may as well just lit 20 on fire.
Wiped it with your ass, lit it on fire.
Anyone
I might specifically not go to Vegas just not to settle this debt with KB. That's how upset that I am over this.
Is anyone hiring? Is all I'm asking. Can I make a series of TV?
Is the question because Mark says he's dead money, is the question what's it like to go on every ride at the amusement park?
Oh man.
Oh god. Okay. All right. This last one is also a quote right after this player won the WSOP main event. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Here it is. So the order is Mike, Mark, KB. Okay. Mm-hmm. You have to play really good and run really good. Chris Moneymaker, Greg Raymer, Joe Hashem.
Greg Raymer.
Greg Raymer. Mark?
Christopher Moneymaker.
Okay.
Okay. Now, what's the score? Because this is where the GTO really comes
You're
in.
up one
Yes,
on both
it
of
does.
them. Oh, no, I'm dead.
You're up one on both of them, yeah.
So now I'm trying to think. So if I go the other way and I'm right, I win for sure. And if I pick one of your answers, I'm going to push no.
You could push win.
I could still, yeah.
Actually, wow, I shouldn't tell you. You're free rolled. You should never go Hashem here, you dolt. You leave Hashem for free, and you just fuck one of us. And if it's Hashem, you still win.
The problem is
This is why I'm the best player of the three of us. Let's be fucking clear on that.
I literally have a piece of paper in front of me where I was drawing out the tree. I was trying.
I think this is Final Jeopardy kind of stuff, like or whatever. Like the tie should go to the.
I don't think KB should get an answer. He's taking too long, right, Mike?
The problem is, I think it's Hashem, but I
just go balls to the wall.
All right, Greg Raymer.
Greg Raymer. Okay.
Come on, I'm pretty sure this is Moneymaker. Give it to me.
Mike and KB, you are correct.
Fuck! Yes! It was never going to be...
KB, you take it all. KB, you got 5. Mark, you got 3. And Mike, you got 4.
I fucked Mike out of $20. I almost feel bad.
You pretty much did right there. You talked him out of it.
I fucked you. I fucked you, Mike.
Mark, you could. God damn! I should have said Hashem.
Now GTO right there, he should have gone with Hashem and then just be guaranteed a push or win, right?
No, because Hashem he leaves empty, and if it's Hashem,
the other way
he
around.
wins.
Oh, my bad. So he's got to guess either Chris or Raymer, and then he either wins or pushes, right?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Right on. Cool. That was fun.
That was.
Nice work, Stevie.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was fun.
I was Googling last night. I was like, ooh, this would be fun. This would be fun.
Stupid idea to bet on that game. Whose idea was it?
Yours, sir.
The good news is I think I owe you $5, Mark, from when we did our series and we made a bet on whether I folded when I wasn't supposed to, and you won. So.
No, I lost that too.
Oh, did you?
I lost that too. Yeah, fuck. I think we doubled down though. God damn it.
We might have got double or nothing. Oh well.
I'm sending you Bitcoin anyway. Actually,
what is the future of Bitcoin here, Mark? If I might jump off here, I don't have to ask you on the air. Some poker players are telling me I should have all my money in Bitcoin. That's good. That's actually going to get ready to explode.
So I had a decent chunk of change in Bitcoin because I got paid out from some sites and I lost $1,800 in 36 hours. This was a week ago. Bitcoin is not doing well as of late. It's still at 1,000, but I don't know. Yeah, every fucking poker player is like, buy it.
Right.
Like, especially the top guys, and they're talking about Ethereum too. Like, there's another currency that's out there.
Yep.
I don't know. Like Steve, you bought it 400, right?
Yeah, I bought one at like 400 or 450 or whatever it was. I don't remember, and now it was worth 1,200 a few days ago. It's down to $1,000 now.
Yeah,
it's just so volatile. You know, I bought that one. I look at Bitcoin like I think this is the future of money. You know, I mean, I was watching a program on Nat Geo, like the beginning stages of money, and it was like shells and like stones and stuff like that, you know, and now we have paper money, and then now we have digital money in the stock market. And really, when you look at your bank account, all it is numbers that are just changing from one bank account to the gas station to wherever, you know, and then I look at Bitcoin as like, I think this is the future of currency, but I could be wrong. I don't know. So I thought there's only going to be, you know, 23 million of them or whatever. So if I own one, then that ought to be worth quite a bit someday, you know? But I don't know.
Someone told me the banks are going to start sending the information to the government or something too. I don't know. I might have had this dream where it's going to count as income, so it's not. But anyway,
I mean, you still have to pay taxes on. Like, technically, you're still supposed to pay taxes on it if you do profit. But it was supposed to be regulated or something. I'm not 100%, but that's why it had such a big drop 3 days ago. And it's funny because some poker players were tweeting out, they're like, "Oh, ACR hasn't sent me my Bitcoin," and I'm like, "Those dirty motherfuckers!" Like, they literally, like, they're waiting for it to go back. Like, they took all these sites that use, you know, ACR, Carbon, Bovada. When Bitcoin takes a fucking huge drop like that, they lose their fucking ass. So, like, all of a sudden, cash outs are coming so quick. Like, cash outs are coming quick. It's no shocker that Bitcoin's going through the roof. Like, but then when Bitcoin goes down, your cash outs are fucked. It's a cold game, but
okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So if you see Bitcoin going down, don't even bother cashing out. There's no point, and they can fix it. Like, Carbon just fucked me the other day. They like waited for the drop and then instantly shit it all on me. Fuck Carbon Poker, mind you.
That's interesting.
Any people that play on Carbon, fuck that site. Although it's the easiest. It's dirty. And then you cash out when it's on the up and up, and they're like, "Oh yeah, your cash out's getting delayed another week." I'm like, "You really gonna fuck me with no condom? Like, fuck off." There's my rant. Sorry about that.
Was that Mark's? Were we 48 minutes in before Mark started dropping F-bombs?
I'm super frustrated about that. Carbon is really
sure, of course, yeah.
Fuck me. So. Yeah. But yeah, I love Bitcoin still.
Go Bitcoin.
I don't know. Just hopefully all these people want the poker boom, like, especially for us online American grinders, as much as we'd like PokerStars California. Like, if we could make the deal that it just doesn't get worse, that we have these 3 sites forever, I think we'd probably have to take that, wouldn't we?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, Bitcoin's the answer to cash outs too. I mean, it's amazing for that.
Yeah. No, that's definitely great.
Yeah. Have you guys even gotten a check from either ACR or Bovada, not Bovada anymore, Ignition in the last, 4 or 5 months, or do you only do Bitcoin?
Only
Just
Bitcoin for me.
Yeah.
Only Bitcoin.
Oh,
I forget at what point Carbon finally got their situation straight and did Bitcoin. Sometime like early last year, I think it was, or middle of last year.
Greatest day of Mike's life, and it would have been the greatest day of my life too. See, that's the thing. Like these sites actually have the money. Everyone's like, "Oh, they're bankrupt." That's never been like, even with Lock. Like, I'm not 100% sure what happened. What I'm guessing happened, the money just got tied up at a bank. Like the processor, like that third party, and that processor can just fuck you. Like Bitcoin, the beauty of it is the money's just sent to you right away. It's an amazing option.
yeah.
It's just if they're timing the volatility, which is tough. But, I mean, they can just sit on it. Like, when they take a hit, they're just sit on it. It's annoying, but it's the only answer.
Yeah. Huh. Right on. As I wanted to ask a little bit of strategy before we go. I was watching your guys' latest series on TBE. You're taking KB's 4K run, breaking down every hand, and there was something you said in there, Mark. It was KB folded the 10-7 off in the big blind when somebody threw in a steal in late position. And I think at that time he had something, just ballpark, I can't remember the exact big blinds, but he had like maybe 15 big blinds. And then later he ended up doubling up and he had something like 35 or 40 big blinds, and he had 10-9 off in the big blind. And then he called. And you made a statement that I actually wrote down. And you said, spots like these are more profitable to be defending these types of hands off smaller stacks because there's no reverse implied odds. So I guess, if we're in the big blind and let's say the cutoff raises for a steal or the button raises for a steal, and we got something like 10-7, 10-8, 10-9 off, one of those kind of hands, and like a Jack-9 or something like that. You're saying that it's better to call when you've got like 15 big blinds than it is if you've got 35. Is that right? Or
well, if it's between the two options, like if you said you only get one option of calling with the 15 big blind stack or the 35 big blind stack, yeah, we should call with the 15. I'm calling both, but if you take what I didn't get into too deep on the video, because, like, honestly, we could talk about this for hours. When you have, like, 10 big blinds, 15 big blinds, with no reverse implied odds, meaning when you flop top pair, it's just so easy to get in. When you defend a hand like 10-7 off of, like, say, 50 bigs, now you're facing possibly 3 barrels from a guy, and, like, we're not going to put in 50 bigs with top pair 7 kicker or top pair 10 kicker. Whereas when we have 15 big blinds and the flop comes like 8-6 deuce, like when we defend out of the big blind versus like a late position raise, early position, whatever, that range favors us. And it's really easy to like lead get in or check shove. Whereas like when we have 60 big blinds, it becomes a bit dicier. And like same thing with like when you do flop top pair off 15 bigs, you can just like check get it in and like, it's not bad. It's profitable.
Okay.
So
reverse implied odds. Just if you guys are scratching your heads here, reverse implied odds are basically, implied odds are how much you can expect to win if you hit your hand, how much more you can get from the other guy. Reverse implied odds are how much you could expect to lose after you make your hand. So let's say you've got a draw of like a weak flush draw. Like you've got 7-8 of hearts on a 2 of hearts, 5 of clubs, king of hearts board. Well, somebody could very easily have a better flush draw. So the times that you even make your hand, you're still going to lose. So that would be reverse implied odds. So as I understand it, Mark, you're saying that you have the potential when you've got 40 bigs and you've got the 10-9 off, you have the potential to lose 40 bigs. Whereas when you have the 10-7 off, the decision tree is very easy because you never even make it to the turn. Is that right?
Well, yes. Yeah, and it has to do a lot with the math. Like when you're defending out of the big blind to a min raise, you're getting usually, at least 2-1 more of the time with antes, like closer to 3. So the math to call any 2 cards is there. And then, if you take a simple strategy of like, leading or check jamming all your gut shots or top pairs, whatever. Like, shoot, sometimes like I'll defend off 10 bigs with like queen deuce, and like it'll come like deuce 8 jack, and I'll just check jam because the chances of him hitting that flop are unlikely. Like, you only hit a flop, what, like 30% of the time? So, like, I don't know. I'm not recommending to do that, but, you know, you take a simple strategy when you defend off the shorter stacks, and it works out perfectly. Andrew does a really good video, Andrew Brokos on TPE, about defending out of the big blind that you should check out. But it's like an evolving strategy. KB failed this past series. But yeah, Mike, we've been working on. Mike stepped it up too. Like, I mean, it's crazy. Like, it's hard to want to defend like the 10-7 off 10 bigs. Like, you want to preserve your fold equity, but math dictates calling. You know. Yeah.
Well, you had a couple of videos of you doing a detailed analysis of KB's database, and there's only so much you can argue with Ben. You know, like I didn't like my stats out of the blinds, and I think I think I 3-bet from both positions like 12%. And I'm like, this is too high, right? He's like, nope, you're not defending the big blind enough. So you have to defer to Ben in these spots.
Yeah. Yeah, and Ben is the math, we'll say. I mean, Ben is literally the definition of math. I mean, we've seen big improvements in both your games when we just started to defend that like 60 to 70% out of the big blind. And, like, it's even higher off the shorter stacks, like we just explained. Like, you should be defending damn near 100%.
Right.
Because, like, it's really hard for a dude to, like, not c-bet ace-king on 10 deuce 4. Or, like, not, like, get it in when you're defending off 10 bigs. And all it takes is you flopping a pair, getting 4-1 with implied odds of, you know, stacking him, of getting a full double. People will pass on that, too, and be like, well, if I keep waiting, maybe I'll get kings. But the problem is I'm defending 10-7, getting a double, and then getting kings with 20 bigs, getting up to 45 bigs. You're doubling up with 6 big blinds to 12 when you get kings. I fucking quadrupled you because I'm playing the math.
Yeah, that's Ben looking at the math when we first started studying all my hands. Is like those were the big blind defend needs to go up, and raise first in late position needs to go up. And a couple of these, my big scores here in the ignition, I keep going, well, I'm going to get 3-bet this time, but I'm going to open. No, everybody folds. I'm like, well, surely I've opened the cutoff like 6 straight times. Everyone's going to, I'm going to get jammed on. No, everybody folds. So yeah, it's definitely profitable with that. And the same thing with the, it seems counterintuitive to like defend the big blind. Although people are adjusting with larger opening sizes. And I think a little bit more.
Yeah, and not c-betting as much, too. Like, the reason why we can defend out of the big blind to a min-raise so often is, like, people are just over c-betting. Like, but that's changed, too. Like, I remember Marc Dube, like, 3 years ago was c-betting, like, 96%. And, like, if you looked at him now, it's not even close to that. Because that worked. But now it doesn't. So, you know, that's the beauty of poker. It's ever evolving.
Yeah. It's always changing. It is. I got a question for you, Mark, too, on donk betting. I always find myself in these strange spots that
KB and I, by the way, are a little wounded here that you're not addressing the question to all of us.
I was just gonna say too, like, I think Mike is one of the best donk bettors I know, and KB donk leads a shit ton too. Which is, I mean, I review a lot of their stuff, and Mike, you do it very often, but go ahead, Steve.
Okay, yeah, well, just kind of give us a rundown of, what are some good boards to donk bet? So when someone raises, we'll just call it late position to try to keep it consistent, we complete out of the big blind, and then maybe we can use the hand from before, 10-9 off. And, like, what boards are you going to donk bet on if you defended in the big blind with 10-9 off?
Well, so we're talking just a head up pot though, right?
Yeah.
So like the first thing I'm going to think about is like what board texture favors our range. So, like, immediately if we're playing online, I'm going to look at this guy's steal percentage from the exact position, or, like, relative, like, late, mid, early, whatever. And I want to see what he's opening. And, like, hopefully I have my HUD filtered where it's pre-ante versus antes. So, like, let's just say he's opening, like, 50% of the time from the cutoff, or, like, 40%. So what types of board are going to favor me? If you plug in 40% into, like, one of those hand calculators, whatever, like, the smaller boards are going to favor us, like, anything under an 8. It doesn't, regardless of what we're holding. Like, we want lower cards to come because that's going to favor our range. Like, anything from deuce to 8, as long as 8's the highest card, that favors us. So, like, 9, 10, I mean, it depends on stack size, too. Like, what stack size are we talking here? Like, shorter stacks, deeper stacks? Like, I tend to lead more towards, like, middle to deeper stacks. Short stacks would just be leading to get in, but I almost like check shoving more, depending on if the guy's over c-betting or not.
Yeah, if you get middle pair or something. Let's say we got like 50 big blinds.
Oh, 50 big blinds? Yeah, I'm going to have a much tighter lead range here.
For donk betting.
Yeah, I don't...
Now, let's say in that scenario, we're both 50 bigs effective. The cutoff raises, we defend in the big blind, and the board is like queen 9-3.
And we have 10-9?
And we got 10-9. Are you donk betting there?
No. Always check calling. In fact, I don't really have... I'm not going to be leading too often at this depth with much, because at 50 bigs, I think check raising is probably better. On the boards, I would consider leading.
Okay, now, this same scenario, we got 15 bigs effective. I'm thinking check shove on this board. Are you in the same boat?
On queen 9 deuce, yeah, I think check call, check shove are both fine.
Okay. Now, what about the same board, queen 9-3? We'll call it rainbow. We're 50 bigs effective, and we have ace 3. So we got bottom pair with an overcard. Are you donk leading there?
On queen 9-3 and we have ace 3?
Yeah.
No, I'd be way more apt to like check call, check fold. That board favors him that's immensely. And I mean, we don't have very much equity. The stuff I'm leading is more so draws and I mean, not even sometimes 2 pair. Like, if it's a big, say we're 3 or 4 way, and I flop bottom 2 on 10 jack 6, and I have 10-6 suited, I defend it out of the big blind. I'd be more apt to lead there, when I feel like people are gonna have. I mean, although I say that, and that's actually a pretty wet board where we can get action from just check raising or something. But I'm more apt to lead with bottom 2 for protection, off 50 bigs, than to ever be bluffing very often. I'd rather check raise as a bluff.
Okay. What are some scenarios you guys can think of, Mark or Mike and KB, on donk betting?
For me, kind of like Mark was saying, I don't know if this is the proper answer, but I actually think more important than board texture is the opponent, and I shouldn't say more important. Let's just say equally important. It's the opponent and stack depth and just the dynamic. Obviously, board texture is super crucial. Don't get me wrong, but those are the kind of things I look at. Guys who are just super tight and again, where the board favors you and the guy's just gonna fold way too much, because a lot of opponents will see right through donk leads.
Yeah.
So if they're super sticky, I don't know, we had an opponent in this video that we were just discussing who was just, and I don't remember if there were any situations where we donk let into him, but he was just super sticky. He just wasn't folding, and those guys I don't bother donk leading into.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, my aggression factor once you go late in tournaments, 30 big blind effective and under becomes really high in terms of 3-betting, raising, and I kind of look at the donk lead as something. Yeah, it's more effective the shorter you are. There's people who probably somebody opens with 25 bigs, and on the 6, 7, 9 flop, you donk 2/3 for whatever that is, 4.5 bigs. Now this guy is supposed to be calling with probably ace queen, ace 10. He's maybe even supposed to jam with the gutter ball and 2 overs. But I think on the American sites, people are probably just overfolding there.
I think he has to fold ace queen, but he may on that board.
Well, so basically, I always like to look at spots.
That's why leading is great, though. That's why leading is great.
Especially off the shorter stacks. If you're I just like spots. This is why I like maybe delaying aggression towards like turns and rivers. Any spot where it's like this guy will never play back at me unless he has a hand. Like he has to have.
I think
top pair.
You could not have said it more perfect, Mike. Like off specific stack size. Like so, what you're doing is say like a guy opens off 22 bigs, you defend, and you lead 2/3 into him. He has to make a decision now, like if he's gonna shove, if he's gonna call, and like more often than not, when the board texture favors us, like you said, like that 9-8 deuce, 9-8 7, whatever. They're going to just fold. So, like, you're putting them in a spot, like, where it's like, do I want to risk all my chips? And I think that's, like, the perfect stack size to do it. Another example I wanted to say was, like, say I'm playing Mike, and Mike opens from late position. I defend out of the big blind with 10 jack off, like, 32 bigs. Effective, we'll say. Queen 9 deuce flop, I have 10 jack. I could lead into Mike donk into Mike, knowing he's going to that like Mike's capable of raising me there, and then I could 3-bet shove the flop. So like I think doing it with draws off like those 30 bigs when you can create fold equity on a 3-bet shove can be really strong on certain flops. Like with draws, gut shots, like gut shot 2 over, shit like that.
Also,
that makes sense. 30 big blinds. Yeah, just to know like the difference. I mean, Steve, you've seen if you study with Carlos since like, a lot of times he'll like a move if you had 18 bigs, but not 15.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like just these little difference in stack sizes where, like you said, Marc can't really do that move. It's not optimal 20 bigs effective probably, but 30 bigs where you can bet and reshove is perfect.
Yeah, that fold equity is the nuts.
Yeah.
I also really like doing it when like with like pairs and backdoors. So like if you have bottom pair, a backdoor straight draw, and a backdoor flush draw, it's just sexy because you can 2-barrel so many turns.
Yeah, now, that's a really good point too.
That's a scenario where I always donk bet. Maybe that's a weakness because the one you just said, KB, is I got bottom pair and I have some type of backdoor equity. I always just lead out right there. And maybe that's wrong to always do that. Maybe I should be doing it 80% of the time or half the time or field independent. But yeah, I do it every time.
Yeah, see that's a leak, right? Like you can't do something every time. Like you have to be like if I told you, like anyone that would ever tell you to do something every time is a complete idiot. Like you have to adjust to what's happening on the table. Like if he's over folding to a lead, yes, lead every single time into him. But if he's never folding to a lead or he's super active, I mean, check calling can be better. But what KB said, I want to go back to that. A lot of times when we have like bottom pair, middle pair with a backdoor draw, we're not leading to take the pot necessarily. Like it's kind of merged. Like we're leading to pot control. Like so instead of check calling, I mean, I talk to both Mike and Derek about this often. Instead of check calling half pot, we can lead 1/3 and keep the pot in our favor where we can realize our equity at a much cheaper price. So I think that was a really good point, Derek.
Thanks. I learned that from you.
I will also, normally, like for like bottom pair, people are like, well, this is more of a check call because you've got equity. But I kind of look at like bottom pair on certain boards is like the same as the gutter ball. You want to it's a bluff. You want to take it down, especially if you can't really improve.
That's a good point.
Like you got 5 outs versus 4 outs rather than, because like a pair, people don't want to get blown off it. Where if you lead with a gutter ball and someone raises, you don't really give a shit. Where I'm the same way with bottom pair, pretty much.
Exactly. Okay. I was just going to say, like,
if I defend with king 4 suited, too. If I defend with king 4 suited and the flop is 10-9-4, Yeah, especially if you don't even have the backdoor flush. It's like, that's like a lead steal rather than a check call, in my opinion.
I remember, like, in my earliest days of like studying poker, or at least my attempts to try to get good at poker, I remember this sort of like this little time frame where it was really cool to lead monster hands, like the donk lead. Like if you flop a set, like the donk lead, because the whole big thing, like why would they ever lead here? Like they can't have a big hand. But I don't think that's a thing anymore, is it? Do you guys ever do that? Like you flop top set and you just lead right out?
I still think that has a ton of merit. Like
really?
I still think
if they're loose and active, then I'll lead into them with top set or something, or when I flop them.
I want to ask everyone a question. What when someone leads into you, like let's just not give a board text or anything, no stacks. Let's just talk about this. When someone leads into you, Steve, what are you putting them on? Like no board texture. What's the first thing that comes to your mind when someone leads into you? When
they donk bet into me?
Yeah.
When I've raised to steal and then they donk lead. My first thought is, does this smack his range or does this smack mine? And if it smacks his range, I'm more likely to fold. And if it hits mine, then I'm more likely to call.
Okay, Derek.
I always think my first inclination is there a draw on the board? And if so, does that match his range? Like I always think, oh, he's got an open ender, he's got a flush draw, or he's got kind of the hand that I like to do, like that pair and a two back doors or a back door or something. I always think draws. It's the first thing that comes to mind. Now I might eliminate that once I look at the board and go, he wouldn't have raised that, so he can't really have that draw. But that's my first
inclination. Yeah. Okay, and Mikey.
I'm saying I'm taking the paddle out, and God, I hope this is KB on ignition. It'll feel good.
No, seriously.
No, yeah, I'm playing a lot of cash now, and against especially like these. I guess you'd say like the cash regular in 2-3 is similar to the turning regular in ignition. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And they never donk lead their monster hands. Almost, they just love the check raise.
So you would say. So what would you give them for leading then?
A lot of times I look at their VPIP. I'm just like, if it's 25 or higher, they've got a lot of bullshit here, and I'm raising them.
Yeah,
I know that's that's my simple multi-tabling response to that kind of spot.
So we got like 3 answers, some similar, whatever, different. But like the whole point is that none of us gave them monsters. Like we're usually KB said draws. You think they're weak. Steve's looking at ranges, which is good. But the point is like, since we're not giving them that's how people would read the situation too. Like we're 3 different players and we all look like, I think draws, I was going to say, when someone leads into me, I think weakness, draw, second pair, bottom pair. So like we should be leading our nutty hands because we're getting played. Like Mike says he's going to raise us. Like, well, fuck yeah, Mike, I'll lead middle set right into you and go ahead and raise. Like that makes it such a strong play still.
Yeah.
That not enough people do, because I feel like even me, like I'm not balanced in that spot where I'm more likely to lead like something with equity or something to protect equity, where I probably should have more like 2 pair and sets in that range.
It's a really good
Is that
point.
a stat in the HUD database that they have? I mean, I still don't use the HUD properly, where you can see like fold the donk bet.
Yeah, they have that. Rivermen found that stat for me. Yeah, they do have stats like that. They're awesome.
But yeah, basically, I guess you would lead the monster hands if the guy maybe his C-bet percentage was a little low because you think he's going to pot control second pair. Yeah, and like, so that would be
like Mike,
HUD-based.
for you especially, like you lead a lot. So like you donk a lot. So you should start definitely balancing, because if you say you just donk into a guy with a gutter or something and you get there and you show down, like the next time you flop 2 pair or a set, like he's going to be so oi your life and just raise you there. So like you balance that out, you're like unbeatable. Yeah. Donking is like the sickest shit in the world.
There's nothing that anecdotally, there's nothing that stings more. And like, late in a tourney, you flop your set and you're like, 3-way pot. Maybe the board's, king, queen, deuce, and you got your deuces. Somebody's got a pair here. You donk and they both snap fold. You're
Someone's got a pair or a gut shot or a straight draw. Like that is heavy.
Yeah, you got to have something here,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one little. Okay, here's a spot here. Cutoff raises 2 bigs. I complete in the small blind. He's got 27 bigs. I got 47, so we're 27 effective. I complete with ace 2 offsuit.
Horrible.
Would you guys just rip this? Or I figured like 27 was too big to rip.
3 better fold.
Oh, really?
I mean, I think all options are okay. I think ripping is fine. Never folding pre. I think flatting is fine.
Really?
But yeah, 3-bet ripping's okay. Like if he's opening like 80%, like you can ship up to 40 bigs with ace deuce and be profitable. I don't recommend it because when we lose, we're out of the tournament. But like if someone's opening every fucking time folded 2 in the cutoff and there's annies and I can increase my stack by 5 bigs and I have 27 or 4 bigs, like, and I think it's going to work 8 out of 10 times, I'm taking it. If I think it's going to work 7 out of 10, I'm taking it. But I think flatting is probably the best option. I like 3-bet folding too. I think that's good.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay. I never even thought of 3-bet folding. I thought this was just an auto flat. But he's a 27-20.
I've waited an hour and a half in this podcast for a spot where we could all gang up on Steve, and it just it just went to shit right away.
Here's the thing, Steve. Why you should have some 3-bet folds here? Because when you have aces, you want to have some 3-bet calls. So like you need to have some bluffs. Otherwise, if you ever 3-bet off 27 bigs when I'm opening the cutoff, now I know that you just have the stone nuts and like you don't have a bluff. If you start to bluff, then I'm fucked. I'm like, well, what the fuck can I do now? Like, what is he like? But if you're only 3-betting the nuts there, which is basically what you just told us, you'll get murked. Like you're done.
Hands that I'm going to 3-bet here would be King Deuce offsuit through King 9 offsuit. I'm going to 3-bet fold those, and same with queens. Queen Deuce offsuit to Queen, Queen 9 offsuit, Queen 8, something like that.
Yeah, I see.
Is that too few? Or is that
no, I just don't think you want to 3-bet Queen 9 and Queen 8 and King 9 as bluff. Like, you can make straights with those. And, like, King 9 is, like, a really strong hand. I wouldn't want to 3-bet fold. I wouldn't want to 3-bet call either. I would just call. But, yeah, I like the Queen Deuce and King Deuce. Like, those kind of play into the Ace Deuce, too. Like, you have strong blockers.
You're in the small blind here, Steve, right?
No, I'm in the big blind.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Ignore everything I said. I thought you were in the small blind, like flatting with ace deuce. I was like, what?
Oh, no. Ace deuce in the small blind? I think I would 3-bet fold with that.
We can have 3-bet bluffs out of the big blind, though, too. Like, that's still good.
Okay.
The thing I like about the ace, Steve, is, like, there's way more combinations of ace X that he's going to 4-bet jam on you. So, although you're taking good cards with Queen X and King X, ace is still the best, like, because you're blocking a shit ton of his 4-bet jam range. Because when you 3-bet me and I have ace 5, I'm like, man, I got the ace blocker, like, now I can use that as a blocker to 4-bet jam. In fact, I 5-bet jammed 2 years ago for 70 bigs with ace 5, and the guy to my left goes, I had the, like, this is deep in the 2,500. There's like 30 left in the 2,500 bracelet event, and like the guy goes ace blocker, and in my head I was like, damn, me too. Like I wanted to say me too, but I didn't. But yeah, okay. I could rant about shit all day, so just stop me. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay. He raises off of 27 bigs. He makes it 2x. We complete in the big blind with ace deuce off, and the flop is 6. 4, 3, 2 clubs. We don't have a club. Now, maybe this is. I was trying to think. Okay, if we have the ace of clubs here, would you donk lead this on 6, 4, 3? We have ace deuce. Would you donk lead there, or would it take something like 2, 4, 6 to donk lead with the ace of clubs? Like what hands are you donk leading like on this board, guys?
So the board was 3, 4, 6. You said
3, 4, 6. Yeah.
I mean, I'll let them answer first. It's okay. Everyone's thinking.
I'm just sitting here staring at it like, I don't.
If the C-bet percentage is high for this guy, I kind of like the check raise a little more.
Me too.
Just
like,
as,
I'm 100%.
With our exact hand, or if we had the ace of clubs?
Just generally speaking, he's got 27 bigs Yeah, like sort of, you just if a C bet percentage is high here, it's just like if he's opening too wide and the C bet percentage is high, you're actually getting more chips. You actually want him to C bet, so you can check raise because you think he's going to be folding so frequently.
Okay.
Like, because of stack size, like, he could C-bet aces and get in, but, like, I'm not in love with this board with an overpair. Like, what am I getting it in versus that, like, I'm happy with here? Like, if you got check jammed and you had aces, like, you would obviously call, but your equity's not that great against, like, a pair open-ended, or obviously you're beat by two pairs, stuff like that. So I would be checking back this quite a bit, but if he was over C-betting, like Mike said, I would be prone to put him on air. So yeah, like, I would like to check raise. Probably not ace deuce with the ace of clubs. I'd probably check call, and then, like, if it went check turn, I'd just lead river, just because we do have that backdoor equity and a gut shot. So yeah, that's my thought process.
I'm pretty much in the same boat. In fact, I don't know if you remember, Mark, but we had a hand like this in our series, I think, towards the end. Heads up or three-handed, almost exactly like this. I think we had like ace-4 on like 3-5.
Yeah, the gut shot. Yeah, and you check raise 3-5-8. Yeah.
Yeah, and we check raise, and
We
my initial
were
thought
much deeper too.
That's a very good point. Yeah, we were definitely deeper.
Did you bring up the possibility if KB played a hand right, it was a misclick? I'm just saying.
Mike, this series was so brutal, and I'll tell you why. Like, he was he was amazing in spots. Like, it was like, I was like, holy shit, this is top class shit. And then he was so fucking bad in spots. So I'm like, what the fuck? Like, can I get something in the middle? Like, it was like literally, I shit you not, like, top class plays, like check raises, leads, like over shoving on the river as a bluff. I was like, bravo. And then, like, folded 2 on the button with 20 bigs, open folds, queen 9 of hearts. I want to shoot myself now. Like, I don't know how we can be so polar. Like, give me, but whatever. You can watch it yourself.
Isn't that what balance means? I thought that's what balance meant in poker.
Oh, playing really well and really bad? Yeah, good point.
Yeah. My point is, like I'm with you guys. I like a check raise here. Okay. I agree with that. If I have the ace of clubs, I'm probably just check calling.
Okay.
I'm always emphasizing, like, whether you're in the money or not, but I really think it changes drastically for a lot of players. Like, if you're not in the money, he might have if you check raise small, he might re-rip it a lot wider than when you're in the money. Like, I was just thinking about turning ace deuce into a 3-bet here, a 3-bet fold. I think if you're off those stacks, if you're like in the middle of the tournament, level 8, whatever it is, like, his reship is going to be like any pair, maybe any ace. You know what I'm saying? Some suited connectors and stuff.
Yeah, but that's not even a big range.
But, like, if you're in the money, you're down to 3 or 4 tables. You can 3-bet there really wide because he's just not reshipping that often. I mean, maybe I'm just talking about, ignition of certain players.
No. You're absolutely right.
So just throwing that out there when
when big money jumps get involved, people get tight. That's when we should be 3-betting as a bluff, like, often. So yeah, you're absolutely right. The one thing I want to say is, like, this board is tough because I just don't, like, depending on if I think the player's good or not, like, I don't think he's going to c-bet wide here. So, like, I do want to check raise, but at the same token, I can't imagine him just c-betting like king 10 here. Like, this is a board he should be giving up on. Like, that board smacks us.
That's true.
So, like, I would be worried if he c-betting. I'd be like, damn, he has something. And, like, I would maybe look for sizing. Like, some people will c-bet, like, this exact board, like, 1/3, and they're just so full of shit. Like, they have the nuts or nothing. I think it's interesting, though. We should talk about what we will donk on this board.
That was my main question, and for bringing this one up, I thought it might be kind of a... Yeah.
I mean, this is exactly the kind of board where, like, we can have, like, some sort of pair and straight draw. like I don't know, like 5-8 of with a I don't know, maybe 5-8 of clubs. Actually, I might check raise that too.
Yeah, see,
like
here's the interesting thing.
7-9 of clubs. I'd probably check raise that too. Actually, I'm actually having trouble.
What about 7-9 with the 9 of clubs? Would you donk lead that?
But that's not even a gut shot, right? That's just 2 overs and a backdoor flush, or is that 2 overs and a flush draw?
That's 2 overs and a gut shot. 3, 4, 6 is the flop.
3, 4, 6.
Then a 5 would give you the gut shot.
5 would give you a gut shot. Yeah, I think we could. The thing is do we want to lead fold that? Like, I don't want to lead fold there. Like that's painful.
Right.
Like,
okay, what if we had?
So you know what? In fact, well, we wouldn't lead fold. We'd lead call, but maybe check raising is better then because, like, what if we lead and he just stuffs ace king and we call and we're like, cool, I have 9 high and this cocksucker has ace king. I don't know. Like, yeah, let's brainstorm. Like, what hands would we lead here? Like, what is? I was thinking maybe 4-5. Or 6-5, like stuff we're absolutely never folding, and maybe we get him the bluff. But I don't know. Some of that plays better as a check raise too. I have bottom two on this board. Bottom 2 is a good lead because we're protecting our hand because like there's a shit ton of draws. Yeah, like bottom 2 is a good lead here. But I'd like to have some bluffs too. I just can't figure out what I like. But bottom 2, any combination of 2 pair here is a good lead. Sets too.
Ace
it's
now,
super
ace
wet.
clubs.
If you were to donk lead here in this spot, whatever half pot, 2/3 pot, what turns are you firing a second barrel on if he calls? Or are you kind of over it because his call there is pretty strong?
I mean, it depends.
It's a pair.
Depends what the turn is, right? Like, yeah, I'm gonna put him on an overpair a lot when we lead into him and he just calls. Yeah, because I can't imagine him just calling ace king high. Like, if he's calling me with ace king high, he's just burning money. Like, I'm gonna beat him in this spot, 95 out of 100 times on that exact board. So, like, when he calls, like, yeah, red flags should go off. Like, he's probably got an overpair, so let's make our hand or like pick up more equity. And even if we pick up more equity, I'm not going to shove. I'm just going to bet small to keep the pot in our favor.
Right. I mean, if somehow you had the information that he's only calling with overpairs, then obviously you donk any 2 cards and just give up on the turn.
I mean, honestly, like, I think donking with like
Queen 10 off
is good here. Like, I like those donks. But I also think we can like check, and then donk turn. Like, I think there's a lot of ways to play that hand. But yeah, like, this board sucks for him, Like, this board is us. Like, we should win this pot often. Yeah. It's just, it depends on the villain. Like, I'm telling you, most villains, I don't know. Like, I think it's pretty split if they're going to check back an overpair here. I mean, this board is fucking horrible for 10s. Like, I am not happy with pocket 10s here. I'm like, sweet. I'm probably going to be out of the tournament.
Yeah. Well, this is my last hand.
Yeah. Oh, it's been fun. Anyone hiring?
Yeah.
Now, what about a hand like, okay, so we got 3 clubs, 4 clubs, 6 of hearts. What if we defended with 5-3 of diamonds? So we got bottom pair open-ended. Are you guys donking that? I would by default every time right there. Unless this guy is super active, then I think I can check raise him off his hand or something. But that was one of those scenarios, Mark, where I was like, yeah, I'm betting that every time.
Okay, say you bet and he jams and you just miss out on all that great equity. Like, doesn't that sucks? Like, you can't lead call, you can't donk call there. You'd be burning money. So, like, I think when you have that kind of equity and like, I don't think he's going to c-bet ace-king, but I think all of us are aware that people will c-bet complete air here. And not even saying that's bad. It's just something I wouldn't do. But people will c-bet the queen 10 here. And, like, so not only are you throwing away the best hand, you're throwing away all that equity you have. So, like, I would never lead there. I just more come to, like, check call, maybe check raise, get in, because we create that fold equity when we check raise, and then we're priced in the call. It makes a little bit more sense. Like, leading there is treacherous when we have to fold. Like, the hands I would lead are like, I think 7-8 of clubs is a good lead, where we have 2 overs to the board, a gut shot, and a flush draw. Like, what more equity could we want? Where, like, like, even if we lead and he shoves ace king, like, we're a massive favorite against ace king. Or not massive, but we're a good size favorite there.
Yeah, we're getting
when I have equity, I don't want to get blown off of it, especially like straight equity and flush equity. Like, the price just wouldn't be there.
Okay, cool.
So you might be polarized there if essentially you're donking your really strong hands and then maybe throw some, like we said, queen 10 off, some just crap.
Absolutely. Like, the middling hands I would have would be like, I mean, I'm still getting them in. They have a shit ton of equity. But, like,
Right.
I'm going to be super polar there to, like, bluffs or something I'm ready to go with. Why would I want to lead middle pair? Like, what does that accomplish? Like, when I could just check raise as a bluff with middle pair or something, like, I don't see the point on that exact board to lead the best hand and possibly get blown off it. Given stack sizes, I mean, we could talk about, if we have 50 bigs, it's a whole nother story.
Yeah. Okay. How about like 10-4 suited? If you completed with that, because he only min raised. If you had 10-4 suited, well, are you even completing that pre-flop 10-4 suited?
Oh yeah,
yes.
Anything suited.
Okay. 10-4
Ben would scold you right now.
Okay.
Ben would scold you.
Okay, I'm completing there with 10-4 suited, but I'm folding 10-4 offsuit. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's say we had 10-4 suited.
I think the very first time Mark coached me, there was some spot where I folded like Jack 4 suited, and he was like, "I gotta, you're at the top of your range here," or something.
Seriously,
I was like, "This is what I was learning about how wide you could defend the big blind," and that was not even considered a questionable call. It was a must call.
I mean, Mike,
so, yeah.
the truth is you could be defending like 100% because you're like pretty stellar post flop. So, like, you could be defending 100% and probably be making a fortune because you're good at reading text.
Steve, on the other hand.
Well, no, Mike's better. Mike is really good post flop, and he's really good at leading. Like, Mike is one of the strongest donkers I know, and he does it more than anyone. So he's got the most experience,
Yeah.
Thank you, kind sir.
I've seen all of your guys' hand histories a shit ton of time. So, like,
Yes.
I have
This
a
has
pretty
just
good
gotten
read on
weird.
how
This has just
everyone
gotten
plays.
weird and uncomfortable when we start complimenting each other.
Yeah, it's way more fun making fun of each other.
Okay, so what about 10-4 suited there? We completed, and then the flop is.
Can I quickly, Steve?
Yeah.
I gotta get going here.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, we've been.
In a minute. I mean, I got a bunch of shit I got to do. Although I was
let
just
Mike
thinking
go.
about the tag team event, guys. Are you going to be out there for that? Me and Steve are playing. I'm just curious because I was
I
thinking
hope
of drugging. I was thinking of drugging him the night before so he didn't get up that day. So I'm just letting you know if Steve is unavailable.
I think it's too early in the summer. I don't think I'll be there.
Yeah, it is pretty
Mike,
early. It's one of the first events.
I don't know that I'm going to be able to make it. I know I said that I really wanted to go, and I do want to go, but I think I'm going to be on my vacation with my buddy, and I don't think I'm going to be getting to.
If I can get a nice score, decent score, for a run well with cash the first week, then I might just get a stripper from OGs to play in that with me. Just
Dude, you've had some good ideas. That was a fucking great idea. I
Thank
may
you.
have to do that. You know what, Mike? If I'm out there, I'll accompany you to what's it called again? The place you want to
What's
go?
the name of the strip club?
I've never heard. OG?
Oh, I got you.
Oh,
I got
yeah,
you.
I've never been there. Okay.
Just in case your mom's listening, I understand.
Yeah, she'll love the handy joint reference.
Okay, yeah, if we had 10-4 here, so we completed in the big blind. The flop is 3 clubs, 4 clubs, 6 of hearts, and we got 10-4 of diamonds. Are you donk leading here on this board?
Go ahead, Derek.
My dogs pick a good time to start barking. I think I would want to have the 10 of clubs to donk lead here. I think I would start with a check call. with the 10-4. But I don't necessarily hate a donk lead. I don't do it as frequently as probably Mike does, and I'm sure I don't. So it's not as much of a tendency for me. But yeah, I think I just would probably check call.
Yeah, see,
Okay.
So if we're leading 10-4, it's just a bluff, correct? Like, we're just bluffing. That's all we're doing.
I would be bet folding there, yeah.
Yeah, so I think since we're going to have so many bluffs, like the queen 10, those types of hands that have no equity, I think it's important to have like these middle and bottom pairs. It's just like check calls, try to get to the river. Because like I said, like he's going to be checking back this board often. So although I think we have the best hand, like, and I somewhat want to protect it, I just think that would be too many combos of bluffs. Like if we have like the queen 10, the jack 10, the shit like that. So I think, yeah, check call would probably be best.
Check call. Okay. Now, what about 10-3 of diamonds? So now we have bottom pair with the 10.
Same thing for me.
Same thing for me, too.
And I think, too, it's important to say, like, by saying we're going to check call, it doesn't necessarily mean we're just going to check call every street. You know, like it goes check on turn. We can lead rivers. We can obviously make two pair or something on a turn and then lead that, or check raise or check call. So I just want to make it clear that I'm not saying like, oh, we're just going to check call all the way down and hope we have the best hand. But I just, in terms of flop action, I'm just going to check call both of those.
Really good point. Like, so if I did just check call with the 10-4, 10-3, I'm probably going to rep a 2 or a 7 or sometimes a 5. Like, so if I think he has the best hand, like maybe he bets again, like I'll turn my hand into a bluff on later streets, barring what we get on the turn and river. And okay. I'll try to, a lot of times I'll just try to get the showdown, but I'm definitely not afraid to like, if I think I need to turn my hand into a bluff, turn it into a bluff on later streets.
Okay. Those would be boards where I was donk leading, I guess, until now. If I had 10-3 or 10-4 there, I would bet out into him. But now that I'm thinking about it, like that might give him a chance to fold his ace kings, fold his ace queens, fold a lot of these hands that if we check to him, he's going to try to c-bet, and then we can call when we're ahead.
Yeah, I still think leading him is okay. Like, especially if, I just think we're bluffing. And, like, if you think he's going to over c-bet, then, yeah, absolutely you should just check call. Which probably in general will happen, and then he's not going to do anything on later streets because it's, you're not going to double barrel ace king on 3, 4, 6, 8 turn. It's just, It's too hard. But I think you have the right idea. Like you're trying to protect your equity, but you're almost bluffing is the problem. So yeah, I'd rather just be polar, like Mike said, and have complete air or something I'm trying to get in when I lead off these specific stack sizes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, thank you guys for coming on.
Yeah, absolutely.
This was a lot of fun, and you can check out the free training videos at tournamentpokeredge.com. They've got some free training videos up there you can check out before you join. When you decide to join, use the codes HUP month, HUP quarter, and HUP year. That is your coupon code. Bookmark us on Amazon at headsuppoker.poker. Follow me on Twitter at HUP Podcast. Follow Mike at Mike Snyderman. You can watch his Twitch channel. Follow Marc and KB on Twitter. AZN, all in, 007. Derek Tenbusch. Watch KB's Twitch stream. All the links are going to be in the show notes. And thank you for tuning in. Here is your weekly motivational speech.
Why is it we don't believe in ourselves? Why is it that as soon as things get tough in our lives, we start doubting ourselves? We start thinking that we may not make it through. Stressing, worrying, imagining things that may go wrong in the future. I'll tell you, the human mind is powerful, but it can also be destructive. It can be your greatest friend or your worst enemy. The person you see reflecting in the mirror will always provide you your greatest challenges in life. Take control of your life. Control of your mind. Conquer yourself, and you can conquer anything in this world. Yeah, it's easy to be positive when everything is going your way. But are you gonna be one of the very few who stand up when things are tough, when everything is going against you? That's when you must show yourself. That's when your character will shine through. That's when your story will be born. Your story of success. You ain't building no story if you give up. The world is full of people who gave up. The world needs hope. The world needs you to stand up.